Dungeon 17 has been the most anticipated Dungeon Quest update yet, as it has been the longest time without a new endgame dungeon, but has finally been officially announced to be right around the corner, including new teasers and sneak peeks. So in this video, we are going to take a look at every new leak and interpret all new information regarding the next dungeon. But before that, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos just like this one. Now, to give a bit of context, Yokai Peak was the first dungeon developed by Voldex and was released on the 13th of October in 2023. As of recording, it is pretty much September, which means it has been 11 months without a new endgame dungeon. Northern Lands was released on December 27th, 2021, and the following dungeon, Gilded Skies, was released on November 25th, 2022, which was an 11-month gap, and the next dungeon won't be releasing for at least another month. Now, to be fair, in between the release of Yokai Peak and the anticipated release of the next dungeon, many updates have been brought to the game, such as events, features, new bosses, crafting, new UI, and so much more. However, I do think they probably should have gotten to work on Dungeon 17 a little bit earlier, as recently the roadmap for this update was announced and revealed that the developers only started working on this update on May 15th. However, this same roadmap also shows that in around 4 weeks, the design and 2D concepting was completed, which is essentially the sketches for the items, bosses, and so on. Then another 5 weeks later, the map was created, as well as 3D art and visuals, including enemies, gear, abilities, and more. And to this point is everything that is completed, and it is projected to take 9 weeks to script and set up the map. Having said that it is almost September, this section of development should be nearly finished, which means all there is left is testing, balancing, and polishing the final touches, which is estimated to take 4 to 6 weeks, meaning we can expect this dungeon by October the earliest. Now, if you have played Dungeon Quest recently, you may have noticed the Ciphers appearing, but before I get more into that, you may have also noticed that Dungeon Quest added some new auras a little while back now, and most players thought it was another filler update, but it turns out this was actually our very first hint towards the next dungeon. This will make more sense later on, so make sure to stick around until the end. Anyways, these ciphers have started circulating and appearing following the first official announcement regarding Dungeon 17, where they claimed teasers and sneak peeks would start to be shared, progressively becoming more interesting. The first one being this message right here, which is actually written in Caesar's cipher, and using a Caesar shift of 5, essentially 5 letters over in the alphabet for every letter in the passage, people were able to decode the secret message, revealing our very first teaser towards the next dungeon, stating, "Since the dawn of life, balance laid in strife of good and evil, realms in constant upheaval." Now, as it is the very first sneak peek, it is very broad and can mean anything, but was quickly interpreted to virtually mean that since the start of time, there was conflict between two realms, one good and one evil, whom are constantly in violent disturbance. The following day, another cipher was posted, this time having a shift of 11, which translates to "Servants of the burning light made to defend the realms, but dire attrition overwhelmed until only 2 remained," which made people quickly realize that this was referencing Gilded Skies, and that the Draconi people were intended to defend other realms. However, they decayed down to 2 realms remaining, most likely the good side and evil side mentioned in the previous cipher. And after 4 days, another cipher was posted, this time with a shift of 7, both a warrior and a queen, the evil they vowed to slay, until the shadows intervened, much to the warrior's dismay. Now, this cipher references a warrior and a queen, which we can assume the warrior is Vitalis from Gilded Skies. However, no information on who the queen could be yet. It could be the archpriest from Gilded Skies, but this was later disproved in a different cipher. Anyways, these 2 characters promised to slay the evil realm until the shadows intervened. Could this possibly be a new mob or something? Who knows? And then it says, "much to the warrior's dismay," which basically means that Vitalis is worried. And in the next cipher, we get a little bit more information on who this queen could be, with a Caesar shift of 17, reading, "Sorrow of the light, lost to time, lost to rhyme, the story of the queen and her blight." Now, this one is a little bit more confusing, but I was able to come to a consensus that the sorrow of the light is basically the sad death of the Draconi, maybe due to time and whisper tales, and then pretty much just describes the series of events of the queen. And then after 4 Caesar ciphers, we finally got our first image sneak peek, which appears to show the Draconi people praising both Vitalis and the queen in the Gilded Skies realm. And surprisingly, this text is actually in English, but just in a weird font that makes it hard to read. And after making it more legible, it reads, "In centuries past, the Gilded Skies reigned with peace under the rule of the benevolent Gilden Scale dragons, Adelis and Vitalis, queen and king, last of their kind, together with the holy entity known as the Lumen Flame. The Draconi folk prospered together," which goes with the picture, sort of like a caption. But it seems like we finally have the name of the queen, which is Adelis, and the Gilded Skies reigned under the rule of both Vitalis and Adelis as the last of their kind, as well as a holy entity known as the Lumen Flame, which will become more important later on, because the next cipher is similar to the previous one, with another picture and text, and this time it seems to be this creature reaching towards the Gilded Skies icon, with a ton of eyes and monsters lurking in the back. And this text says, "Yet within the darkness lurked the ancient enemy of the great Lumen Flame, the Eldritch Voidborn, god of the void. It seeks to snuff the light light, the lumen flame's very gift, in order to assimilate all under its dark control. The Gildan Scales long ago fought against it to keep it at bay, but now only to remain. So it looks like the creature is actually the god of the void, named the Eldritch Voidborn, and his nemesis is the lumen flame. He wants to take control of the light, which the Draconi fought against for a long time, but now only 2 realms remain. Once again, the good and the evil. Maybe the Eldritch Voidborn is a boss in the new dungeon, who knows? And in this next cipher, it looks like him and the Void Realm took action. As you can see, both realms colliding, and there are so many interesting things in here that could be hints at upcoming mobs and items. But first, let's read the text. So came the time for the final battle of light and dark. Vitalis and Attalus rallied the Draconi soldiers and a mighty general, mages and a wise archpriest, and the Lumen Flames champion. Vitalis ready to slay the evil, Attalus prepared to use the Lumen Flames power to aid all in the coming battle, for vile eldritch horrors waited to bring corruption. So yeah, on the left you can see Attalus and Vitalis. While Attalus seems to be doing some sort of spell, even though she only has her hand out, still could be hinting at something. And Vitalis is holding a huge lance, which slightly resembles the old Gilded Skies ultimate concept art, which could possibly mean that we are getting that weapon. Maybe as the warrior legendary, who knows. Then to the right of Vitalis, you can see a smaller character, which I believe is either the mighty general or the Lumen Flame champion. And then just below are the soldiers and mages. Now I don't know which one is the Lumen Flame and which one is the general. For now, I'd assume the general is with the rest of the army and the Lumen Flame champion is with the warrior and queen. They are all holding some sort of weapon, which again could maybe be a teaser, but for now there isn't much to get from it. And then over on the right is the dark side, the void. You can see the Voidborn and a bunch of other monsters, which includes a floating eyeball monster thing, a spider slash scorpion crawling thing, and of course the eyes lurking in the dark. I can definitely see these being new mobs in the dungeon. And as for the attacks, I do think that one of these mobs could have an attack similar to eyes from doors, where if you look at it, you take damage. Now for the most recent cipher, we can see the Voidborn staring into Attalus, causing something to come out of his eyes, which I believe is attacking Attalus. This text reads, "Alas, tragedy fell as the Voidborn quickly targeted Attalus, taking her. It would then take its corporeal form and possess the dragon's body as its vessel to properly bound itself to the mortal world. Attalus was unable to call the Lumen Flame in time and thus became the Void God's new body." So it looks like the Void God was able to take over Attalus's body to take over the Light Realm. If the Eldritch Voidborn happens to be a boss, it would be a cool mechanic for whatever is coming out of his eyes to be an attack, but it looks like he is no longer in that body. Now there are 2 other images that can be found in the lobby. One of them is this image of Attalus being corrupted, which is pretty much another angle of the previous cipher, although we can see all the new monsters again. And then this image shows the Voidborn inside of Attalus's body interacting with the light. I can't really tell what exactly is going on, but it appears Vitalis is kneeling down, so he is either surrendering or falling for the Voidborn's tricks. And with that being said, this is our very first look at the next dungeon in Dungeon Quest. Comment down below your thoughts on these new sneak peeks and teasers, and if this video helped at all, make sure to like and subscribe.